Exciting new update. We have here Rosespanner Workshop Fixer Result, and we get to take a look at his kit. I actually don't know what this kit really does, so we're going to go over it. So, his first skill is Saddle Task. On heads hit, inflict tremor, and on hit, inflict tremor. It's only a single coin 1. It doesn't look that strong right now because it's a single coin flip, but we'll have to wait and see what the numbers are. His second skill, First Break. Heads hit, inflict tremor, on hit, inflict tremor, and second hit, on hit, if the target has a certain amount of tremor or more, inflict attack power down. This can be useful on things that hit hard and bosses, but outside of that, I don't see the skill being that useful. And let's see his last skill. Finishing run up, heads hit, gain charge count, inflict tremor, charge count tremor, charge count tremor. So these 3 hits will inflict tremor for sure, and charge count up to 3. And its fourth hit, on hit, burst tremor. When bursting tremor, reduce tremor count. Then spend all charge to further raise stagger threshold. So this probably would pair well with, say, Telepole Don Quixote's skill. Because she can give charge to the teammates, but that's usually in her ego corroded form where she can give a flat 10. But outside of that, if it's not ego corroded form, he won't get 10. There's no other units that really give charge count except for lobotomy? No, W Corp, Faust. But that's about it. We'll have to wait and see what the numbers are for the charge count. Depending on what it is, it may or may not be good. Because the only time that this skill I can see being useful is only against bosses, right? Bosses are the only unit where the body part itself has a pretty low stagger threshold, and the only way to burst it is usually when they're already dead. And once they're already dead, it's kind of pointless. I feel like it would be nice, though, if Stagger, or at least Tremor Burst, could create a second stagger threshold. So say, for example, a boss's HP is this long, and they already have, like, their stagger threshold at down here. It would be nice to be able to have a stagger threshold that we get that's like a new one that gets implemented slower and slower and slower and slower and slower. Basically, what I'm saying is I wish they would rework Tremor Burst a little bit. So instead of it just raising the stagger threshold, I wish they would add a new stagger threshold. And with each burst, it gets higher and higher and higher. I feel like that would be a better mechanic because right now, bosses will eventually get staggered, and there isn't really a mechanic or a skill check that requires you to stagger the boss quickly. The only fight that I can think that you would want to stagger the boss quickly is Cromer, but even then, Cromer is just a patience game. So honestly, I can't see how this can be that useful except outside boss fights, so we'll have to wait and see. Passive is Chronic Fatigue. In a clash, the opponent loses clash power if they have a certain amount of tremor or more. When recovering from stagger, heal HP. So this is suiting him up to be a tank is what it sounds like. And we're talking about a tank that recovers HP when staggered, which seems okay, but at that point, you're probably better off with playing Encore Mersault. Because Encore Mersault can lower his own threshold, or stagger threshold, meaning he's impossible to stagger. But, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Seems okay, but tough to say. Opponent loses clash power, so you can make a Tremor team comp easier, so that way you can always beat out the enemy if you're able to constantly stack Tremor, but Tremor count is hard to come by. Tremor is not hard to apply, but Tremor count is hard to come by. The only one that can apply Tremor count pretty consistently is LCCB Ishmael with her second skill Quake Round, and that's about it. Support passive, leave by suggestion. One ally with the highest speed lowers the clash power of opponents with Tremor. This is okay, but usually your unit with the highest speed is usually the unit with a pretty strong clash power. So, G Corp Otis, 3-star Faust, 2-star Honglu, Kurokoa. Like, those are all units that have pretty strong clash already. So, I don't know if this is even necessary. Even like Heathcliff, 3-star Heathcliff, Bunny Heathcliff, like, I don't know how useful this is, but I'll have to wait and see. The character seems okay. Feels like he's a support tank, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, the character that I'm most excited for is Rosespanner Workshop Rep Rodion. Now, Rodion is how would I say, at least this character, I can't really tell. Because her first skill is Rev Up, heads hit inflict tremor, on hit gain charge count, on hit tremor count. So this one will be able to apply tremor count, which is nice. Her second skill is Vibration Compression, on hit inflict tremor count. Second hit is on hit inflict tremor. Above a certain amount of charge count, reuse this coin if it lands head up to 2 times, inflict more tremor. If reused, if the coin is reused twice, burst tremor after inflicting it. After bursting tremor, reduce tremor count. Oh, what a mouthful. So basically, this acts kind of like Ting Tang gang leader Hong Lu's his second skill, kind of, where on heads hit he inflicts more damage, where in this case on heads, not on heads flip, but when you're above a certain amount of charge, you can reuse the coin if it lands heads. So basically, this character wants to be at high sanity at all times with charge count. Hard to say how strong this is because it's all dependent on the tremor burst and how much stagger you can raise from the enemy, since most of the time this skill may or may not be that useful, so we'll have to wait and see. Honestly, looking kind of sus with only 2 coin flips, but we'll have to wait for the numbers to really figure out if this character is any good. I'll have to test it out. Let's rack up some scores. On use, gain charge count. First hit, inflict tremor count. Second hit, inflict tremor. On hit, burst tremor. After bursting tremor, reduce tremor count. Third hit, on hit, burst tremor. After bursting tremor, reduce tremor count. And on hit, if target is staggered, deal proportional of damage dealt as bonus damage. This is probably going to be the main differentiator of whether or not this unit's going to be good or not. Similar to 3-star sous-chef Ryoshu, how her third skill does percentage damage based on missing health, and that skill is actually pretty damn strong if the boss has a lot of HP. Can do upwards of 200-300 just by having a low HP. We'll have to wait and see if this skill is also the same. If this skill does like 200 to 300 damage on a stagger bursted unit, then it's pretty good. But if it does like 40, 50, then it's kind of negligible. And then we have, here's to getting off early passive. When bursting tremor, spend charge to further increase the stagger threshold raise. After bursting tremor, gain haste and blunt damage up next turn. So this one's okay. The first passive, not that great, only because tremor gets used up pretty quickly, in the sense that tremor count is hard to apply unless you're using LCCB Ishmael, but even then it's pretty hard. And second, you have to use charge, and charge decreases each turn, which I still don't like, okay? Having charge decrease each turn feels kind of terrible. So basically, if you use, like, for the first skill, you would gain charge count. I'm assuming just 1. And then by the end of the turn, your charge is gone. Kinda not that useful, I would say, unfortunately. However, support passive Resonance Spanner when one ally with low speed burst tremor increase the stagger threshold raise. Also super niche. You kind of need a slow unit to burst tremor, which I'm going to assume is going to be the 2-star Mersault. But even then, hyper conditional, we'll have to wait and see. Overall, these characters seem kind of weak for the most content, I would say. Most likely this is going to be very strong for, I'm assuming, the next Railway Extraction that's coming out. So the next Railway, and when that comes out, I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of, what's the word? A lot of new monsters that we have to fight, and I'm assuming these characters are probably going to be good in it. Because if these characters aren't good in it, I don't know what's the point of them releasing these characters so close to the new month with the Railway Extraction being swapped out. So we'll have to wait and see. Honestly, these characters seem okay. I don't know if they're that strong. They're feeling kind of weak right now, to be honest. But I would say really liking it so far. We're getting new content. We get Rosespanner Workshop. I haven't actually encountered those guys yet in Library of Rune, so I'm assuming I'm just still not that far in the game. So we'll have to wait and see if these characters are going to be strong. As usual, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down in the comment section down below. What do you think about these characters? Are you guys going to pull for them? I'm going to pull for them. I don't know if they're going to be that strong at the moment. Feeling kind of weak right now, just kind of taken aback, but hey, I was pretty wrong with NCorp NCorp Sinclair. So hopefully maybe I'll be wrong with Rosespanner Rodion. As usual, John Panio signing out. See you guys later. Bye for now.